Hey, I'm Lex, and I bet you haven't thought about Sunkern in quite a while. Boy, do I wish I could say the same. This is part 2 of our Sunkern-only DOLO challenge, a challenge geared towards using only Sunkern squared and attempting to beat the entirety of Generation 9's Pokémon Scarlet. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description so you can check that out and see exactly what these Sunkern have been through thus far. Editor Lax here. He in fact did not remember to put a link in the description to part 1. I handled that, and I've also been left a note here to ask, please subscribe. I play RuneScape, and we like number when get big number. Thanks. Okay, there, I did it. Back to your regularly scheduled Pokemon programming. To summarize, when last we left off, we defeated the evil Lich King Larry and were awarded with our 6th gem badge, allowing us to easily purchase bottle caps, the currency used for min-maxing our Sunkern, and allowing us toll-free access to Easy Street. Right. Yeah, we'll just see about that. Let's start part 2 off right with a visit from Nemona? Oh man, she was hiding in the Gym 7 lobby. The Queen of Misery and not taking a hint herself, let's get this over with. I got badges to badge. With requisite blam pow battle me now out of the way, Nemona starts off our now long-running feud of 5-6 battles with Lycanroc, just a friendly neighborhood rock type. Sunkern cracks his knuckles and teaches this old man a lesson with terastallized Giga Drain. Just kidding, he takes a face full of pocket sand because he gets outsped, graciously allowing our first attack to miss and then takes larger rocks to the face before one-shotting Lycanroc with Giga Drain. 4 turns to 1 shot. We're so back, baby. Out comes Sliggoo, and we swing a double edge because of its ability Sap Sipper. It counters with Dragon Pulse and KOs after outspeeding us, winning a speed tie and the fight with Sunkern number 1. Sunkern number 2 comes out and has a non-grass move, totally because I am prepared. We Earth Power twice with a flail in the middle to defeat Sliggoo. Out next is the electric fighting type Palmot. We can start our Giga Drain train, and with the aid of the metronome, each attack is incrementally stronger. It only takes 2 to take out Palmot. Nemona's ace Meowscarada comes out, and historically has been a huge problem for us. She terastallizes and we trade Giga Drains with slashes, our Giga Drain getting stronger each time to where it only takes 3 attacks to finally seal our first quote-unquote true victory against Nemona. What an actually great way to start off, and I'm sure it will last. After doing something right for a change, we can take on Gym 7's test properly now. Remember Dendra? I bet you don't. School's for chumps. Our test is to show a mastery over our emotional spectrum, a very mature and thoughtful topic for Pokemon to tackle in the dumbest way possible, by mashing buttons and Pokemon battles. The Pokemon battles, I got down pat. The button mashing minigame, I still don't know if I did right or wrong. It let me continue, so I guess? Every button press just says, okay, speaking to Sunkern on a spiritual level. Proving our mastery over anger and a 10th prestige over sadness, Sunkern and I move to the second portion of round 1, beating up a child in the park. Emily starts out with Gotharita, and we pull the patented, skillful strategy of just Giga Drain it 3 times, getting stronger with each successive attack. Kirlia is out next, but the 4th Giga Drain is enough stopping power to one-shot, and at 20 levels higher, it had better. Get out of here, Emily. This is my therapy. After a bout of disgusting battling, we get back to the good stuff, slow time events. I quiet quit initially, trying to see if my input amounts mattered at all, then realized I can do this and tank the game's FPS, something it has never needed my help with before. After giving anger with great enthusiasm, Dendra interrupts us to talk about how sweaty and out of shape we're getting. Shut up, man. And it's time for battle break number 2, because nothing shows emotional maturity like violence. This go around, it's Granddad catching these hands. Granddad Raphael sends out Grumpig, who outspeeds us with Power Gem. We use Giga Drain, and it outspeeds us with Power Gem. And we use Giga Drain, and it goes to sleep, healing itself and hurting our ego, with the implication. We use Giga Drain twice more while it can't fight back for the knockout. Metachem is out next, and our 4th chained Giga Drain almost one-shots, but not quite. We take a foot to the lower jaw and finish it with 1 more Giga Drain. Last but indeedly not least is Indeedee. It outspeeds and takes Sunkern 1 down with Psychic, breaking our Giga Drain chain. Sunkern 2 comes out and we two-shot with the aid of a critical. But mark my words, Psychic will rear its ugly head again. With Granddad's defeat, our gym test comes to a rousing conclusion and we're allowed into the gym battle proper, where we are interrupting a business call? Pardon me, meet Tulip, the Psychic-type savant and 7th gym leader in our path to ultimate power. Her outfit creeps me out. Tulip's first Pokémon is the bubble-headed evolved form of Giraffarig for Farigiraffe. Yes, really. Terastallizing immediately and not knowing what I am getting myself into, we dodge a Zen Headbutt and Giga Drain, doing just shy of half. We take 2 Zen Headbutts in a row due to an unlucky flinch and almost KO with Giga Drain. The same thing happens again due to another flinch and we finish it off with Giga Drain. And if you thought that was too easy, remember what I said about a minute ago? Gardevoir comes out next and claps cheeks immediately with Psychic. Sunkern 2 makes his stage debut and to his credit survives a Psychic, sets up a light screen, and is even able to survive a second Psychic by the skin of its teeth. A Giga Drain here is just not enough to get me back into survival range and we lose our first match against Tulip. A few other attempts were made to non-varying degrees of success, I'll let you guess why, and we decide to circle back after taking on Arvin's last Titan fight, Hefty Lad and Sushi Roll. The duo of Fish Fiends kicks the mountain in and steals the stuff, partakes accordingly, and big fish eat little fish, and we're off. Even going Super Saiyan doesn't make Dondozo much of a threat. Plus, we've got our bestie Arvin riding shotgun with Greedent, aka Bullet Sponge, Meat Shield, and soon-to-be Stew. Greedent holds many monikers. Dondozo, however, holds exactly 3 Giga Drains before succumbing to our might. And it is in fact so rare that we outpower anything, let us just bask in this moment for a while, shall we? Tatsugiri, however, is another story entirely. Our Terra Orb gets recharged for round 2 of fish fights on HBO Max. We use it, but Nemo deals heavy damage to everyone with muddy water as we defensively set up a grassy terrain. It then KOs Sunkern, terastallization and all, with an icy wind. With the end of a hero and after Squirrel Lad gives Tatsugiri a cute little tail whip, Sunkern 2 comes out. Greedent is immediately eradicated with a Dragon Pulse, and we're left all alone. But don't worry, we're dealing about 1/10 of his HP per hit. We trade Giga Drains with various special attacks, however we realistically don't have the output needed to out-heal Tatsugiri's damage here. But with Light Screen, we hang on significantly longer than I thought we would. Good on you, Sunkern, but this ain't happening at level 63. So, when is it happening? Well, I'll be honest, it took a few attempts. We tried and failed many times between level 63 and now level 70. We've started utilizing Mints to alter our Sunkern's nature to yet again give it a further slight edge in situations. And in this fight, a Mint that lowers attack but raises special defense is ideal. We only attack with special moves, and Tatsugiri is a heavy special attacker, so our special defense is very important. Dondozo goes down pretty quick, no surprise there, but what about Tatsugiri? We terastallize and off we go. We immediately fall for a taunt, only allowing damaging moves to be used, thwarting our early light screen setup. We start with a Giga Drain and of course get outsped with Muddy Water, lowering our accuracy. We manage to land our Giga Drain and get hit by another Muddy Water, lowering our accuracy further. Doesn't bother Sunkern and those dead eyes of his, we land our second Giga Drain just fine. Taunt wears off and we finally set up our light screen just in time for Greedent to eat dirt and for us to dodge an incoming Muddy Water. We Giga Drain, tank a weakened Muddy Water, further knocking our accuracy down. This goes on for a while, Tatsugiri crippling our accuracy again and throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Sunkern, who, thanks to being the protagonist, never misses a single shot. I've said it before, and I will say it now and probably again. When Sunkern gets lucky, we take it. Every time. I think we had about a 40% chance to hit by the end there, or something crazy. Arvin and I make our way to the Spicy Cave, not a euphemism, and huff some good in sandwich form. Probably also not a euphemism. Completing Arvin's 5th and final Titan fight, gaining our bike the ability to climb and my self-esteem the will to continue. Thanks, Arvin. Also, his dog's all better now. So now back to Tulip. The last time we got respectfully curb stomped, we were level 63. We are now older, wiser, and have developed a crippling debt from buying mints. I mean it, they're like 20,000 Pokédollars every time I want to swap natures to test a stat loadout. I think I spent at least 15% of my total playtime just grinding cash. Anyways, out first, as always, for Rigoraph. We actually outspeed and set up 2 growths while eating 2 Zen headbutts. A beefed up Giga Drain one-shots and heals Sunkern back significantly. Gardevoir comes out and we outspeed again, which is massive, and set up Light Screen. Gardevoir lands a crit with Psychic, but fortunately we were behind a Light Screen. We Terrastalize and one-shot with Giga Drain, healing again. Espathra is out next, but lacks the raw special attack of its previous teammate and can do little to Sunkern, going down in 1 attack as well. Last but absolutely not least, Tulip's ace, Florges, is out and will be Terrastalized to the Psychic type. This thing was my downfall when and if I ever got past Gardevoir. Moonblast is a devastator and gets STAB. However, with our Light Screen up, our special defense mint, and a chained Giga Drain with Metronome, it just can't do enough. And we have defeated Gym 7's Tulip. However, this took all the way to level 70 before we could claim a victory. We're running out of headroom here, and the level cap only goes up to level 100. After that, there is no more leveling up for better stats. Hopefully, our next few challenges will be tackleable with less grinding. But before we can worry about Gym 8 and beyond, we're met with 2 new faces, here to meet an up-and-coming challenger who will someday take on the Pokemon League. Rika and the embodiment of pure violence, Poppy, 2 members of the Elite Four. After our impromptu meet and greet, it is in fact time to worry about Gym 8. The test? Not so much. Literally the most fun I have had in any gym test thus far. It brought back that demo disc for the GameCube where you could snowboard down a mountain. Just me? Am I old? Okay, thanks. Like my pending AARP registration, we pass with flying colors. And with our early dessert out of the way, it's time for the main course. And hopefully, Sunkern likes dirt, because he's gonna eat a lot of dirt. And without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Grusha, or Grusha. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, but I'm sure this won't be the most difficult thing about him. Grusha is the King of Cold, the Baron of Berg, the Fellow of Frigid. He's the Ice-type gym leader, man. And strap in, because this one's gonna get rough. Starting off the way any good Gym 8 leader should, Grusha is cool, confident, and monologue-y AF. After we chit-chat amongst the mountains, we start the battle proper. I send out Sunkern, and he sends out my worst nightmare, Frostmoth, an ice bug type. We start out the battle on a great foot by outspeeding Frostmoth and setting up a Light Screen. We dodge a Blizzard thankfully and begin setting up with Growth. Frostmoth uses Tailwind, meaning we no longer outspeed. We eat a Blizzard, which would end us without Light Screen, and Growth again. We Terrastalize, dodge another Blizzard, and Giga Drain, dealing solid damage but not nearly enough to squash this bug. We eat a second Blizzard head-on and Sunkern 1 falls, but Tailwind peters out as Sunkern 2 comes out. Thankfully, Frostmoth didn't need it to outspeed our lesser Sunkern, and we get one shot. Whew! Didn't want this to be too easy now, did we? And too easy it certainly was not. I lost to Frostmoth alone a dozen or more times. I lost count and didn't record every single one. But I guess I found a shiny Shroodle while theory crafting and grinding money, so that's neat. But just how uneasy was it? What's needed to get past Frostmoth? Well, Frostmoth has Blizzard and 5 power points of it at that. I need to dodge, protect, or otherwise tank that many before I can set up successfully. So let's see how we do. I think this was attempt number 20-something, and at some point during that, I wised up and started just reloading a save before speaking to Grusha, because each loss was costing me roughly 10,000 Pokédollars, and I'm not even gaining any XP to show for it. So anyways, as always, Grusha starts with Frostmoth, and we immediately Light Screen. Frostmoth uses Tailwind, now outspeeding and landing a Blizzard. Number 1, we set up Grassy Terrain to give us some passive healing while tanking. Healing a bit back, we protect against Blizzard number 2. Dodge another incoming Blizzard, 3 down, and send a Giga Drain to do some damage and heal a little bit back while we can. After Tailwind peters out, we can guess that Frostmoth will set it up again, so we take another free Giga Drain. Then we Protect again, as we know Frostmoth prefers Blizzard when it can. It does, and we avoid it with Protect. 4 down. We attempt to set up a Light Screen, but Frostmoth outspeeds and lands a final Blizzard, KOing Sunkern-1, but using its last Blizzard. Sunkern-2 comes out, and we Protect to verify the absence of Blizzard, and totally not because I can't count to 5, and we see that Frostmoth uses Bug Buzz, meaning we were right. Tailwind peters out, and we set up our Light Screen as Frostmoth opts to Tailwind again. We can use Growth and tank a Bug Buzz. We Protect to diminish the Tailwind timer and tank another Bug Buzz down to only 34 HP, but KO Frostmoth for the first time with Giga Drain. Out next is Beartic. And with no idea what to do now, we continue our Giga Drain train, and it's enough to one-shot. Following that, we face a Titan who looks like he'd be really bulky, but with our nice little terastallization I apparently forgot about in our Frostmoth and Beartic fight, we again OHKO. Bringing up the rear is one of my personal pain points for Generation 3 when known as Altaria was a terror. Let's hope it doesn't wall us here, as it would double resist grass naturally, but when it gets terastallized, it doesn't resist us at all. We dodge a Hurricane, land our Giga Drain, and down the final Pokemon, defeating Grusha. It took probably 5 hours of battling, grinding, and sobbing just to get past Frostmoth, but once that Giga Drain chain train left the station, there was no stopping it. After some parting words and the TMs for Ice Spinner bequeathed unto us, thank God, it's now time for us to part ways with Grusha, the last of the gym leaders. But don't you worry, we're not done with exposition quite yet. We meet up with Geeta and the Problem Child in the gym lobby. We're informed that it's time in our quest for Victory Road to take on the League, and are shown where to go, with a picture because maps are hard. But that's going to be put on the back burner just now. We have some ne'er-do-wells to round up, starting with Atticus, the poison person of interest, who shares a name with my real-life big ginger cat, who I am pretty sure would give us a better show of force than this battle was. Atticus sends out Stun Tank, which, thanks to being over 50 levels lower, gets knocked out before I can finish this sentence via Earth Power. Oopsie. Out next is Muck, and the same thing occurs. Third up is a regular Revavroom, kinda tacky, and with its 4x weakness, it gets OHKO'd even harder than the others. And last, and technically not least, Cooler Revavroom comes out, which also isn't much of a match for a level 80 Sunkern. Go figure. This would have been a way different battle if I took him on at the appropriate level. Okay, Atticus, time for your flashback and totally important backstory. Whoa, pretty boy face revealed. And in truth, I am not 100% sure what was just discussed, having been lost in Atticus's luscious locks, but I am sure it was relevant to my immediate future and completing this Sunkern challenge. Now that we've hashed out all of the sick details and plot, it's time we start moseying on. Just kidding, Johnny Cool Guy and someone's kid shows up. And I just do not care. We're skipping straight to the next guy. This certified short king has a penchant for flair, flowers, and fairy types alike. Meet Ortega, the half-pint powerhouse in pink. Ortega's first Pokemon is the fairy water type Azumarill. I thought I'd be a wise guy and use Sunkern. We set up a light screen and Azumarill bounces. Alright. Not really knowing what kind of damage Bounce can do, we terastallize and ready a Giga Drain, but miss our next attack as it's bouncing. Bounce halves our HP, not gonna make that mistake twice. Our Giga Drain outspeeds and one-shots Azumarill, healing me almost to full. Out comes Wigglytuff, who I kinda forgot existed in this generation. A Giga Drain is enough to red bar it, Play Rough does minimal damage to us, and we finish it off with one more Giga Drain. Up next is the first shiny Pokemon I ever caught in Scarlet and Violet, Doxpin. A solid special defender, but with a 4th chained Giga Drain and 30 levels lower, it goes down quickly. And now it's time for the car fight. Hot Pink Revavroom makes its way to the stage. I think I'll go for Giga Drain this time. Yeah, it does massive damage but doesn't one-shot. Car counters with Mystical Torque, and I don't even know what that does. I also don't need to. One more Giga Drain makes all my problems go away. So long, Ortega. It's flashback time. Oh no, I totally forgot to put the footage in for the flashback part. I'm so sorry, guys. I know you were looking forward to that. Guess we'll just have to move on without it. Oh, bummer. Anyway, we get our fairy badge and can go meet up with Aerie. And yep, she slaughtered me a lot. We'll be back for her, but not quite yet. Can I pet that dog? Hey, Arvin. But Bostiff is looking better than ever, and Arvin is ready to battle. Against us for a change. The Titan quest culminates in a one-on-one with this degenerate and his squirrel. We send out Sunkern and terastallize immediately. I remember this fight being kind of tough when I played through this game like a normal person, so this ought to be a breeze. Sunkern KOs Greedent in just 2 Giga Drains, and we're looking pretty damn capable right about now. Arvin sends out Scovillain, and we swap our tactics to Earth Power, since Giga Drain is double resisted, and oh! Sunkern 1 gets roasted, but that's okay. We didn't need Terastallization. Sunkern 2 comes out now and readies an Earth Power for oh! Arvin makes me change my entire strategy. We'll see how that plays out, but for now, let's try our hand at the Elite Four. We meet Gita outside and head in to get 20 questioned by Rika, who sits behind a desk twice her size. When I played this casually, I failed some of these questions because I just couldn't remember town names and gym leaders, but weirdly enough, when you're forced to fight Grusha 20 times in a row, you remember his freaking shoe size. Thanks, Sunkern. I failed the personality quiz but passed the other exam, and we're allowed in. Our first opponent is Miss Questionnaire herself, Rika the Earth Warrior. With her Whiscash out first, we're going to go ahead and start off Terastallizing. And, we're going to go ahead and use the 4x effective move, Giga Drain. That's probably pretty good. Wow, did that one-shot? That's wild. Camerupt is out next, and we're a little worried about this one. We just do neutral damage, and he's got some... Oh, crit probably mattered. Neat. In comes Donphan, and you know what I could go for right now? A one-shot. Got any of them lying around? Okay, thanks. What? Oh, he endured it. I just had to talk smack. The Pokemon gods were watching me, and we get poisoned. But we finish off Donphan with one more Giga Drain, and we're looking kinda low there. You okay, buddy? Out comes Dugtrio, and I believe there is roughly a snowball's chance in hell we outspeed this. Well, yeah, but that's an increased priority move anyways. Okay, Sunkern 1 falls partly due to my hubris. Sunkern 2, you're up. Please don't make me look bad. I knew it. We in fact do get outsped, but we Giga Drain it down in another OHKO. Now what we've all been waiting for, last but certainly not least, is Rika's ace, the one, the only, Mudbuddy Clodsire. She's going to Terastallize it into the mono ground type and pulls a Sunkern and uses Protect. Neat. Well, we'll launch a Giga Drain after that, outspeed his chunky little butt, and do about half. Not bad. The Sandstorm is going to continue to do chip damage until it subsides, and an Earthquake from Clodsire does surprisingly little. Another Protect from Clodsire only prolongs the inevitable and will follow up with another Giga Drain afterwards, leaving Clodsire in the red zone. A Toxic? Okay, I can see a cool strategy forming from this Clodsire. Toxic, Protect, Earthquake, Protect, and the Sandstorm from Dugtrio. Okay. I don't give it time to work. We take it down with our final Giga Drain, besting Rika. One down. With golf claps all around, we've made it to round 2, and it's a literal child like straight from daycare, Poppy. What have you got for us, Pipsqueak? Bring Your Kid to Work Day starts with Copperajah. It's bulky and slow, and in my mind, the perfect thing to set up on. We start with Growth as it lays Stealth Rocks. Lol, nerd, that's not gonna hurt me. We Growth again and receive a proper, you what mate, in the form of Heavy Slam. Ouch. However, a single Earth Power after 2 Growths is enough to OHKO. Out next is a whole ass problem, played for you today by Corviknight, and yep, that's how I thought that'd go. Sunkern 1 falls to a super effective Murder Bird, and out comes Sunkern 2, who takes residual disrespect damage from the late Copperajah. Corviknight, the ever-all-American, casts Gun one more time, and Sunkern 2 eats it like a champion. And so far, the bird has hurt itself more than I have. A pitiful Giga Drain later, and one more double tap, and Sunkern 2 is also going night-night. So Poppy is going to be a roadblock, and we're running out of things to circle back to. I better go find a shiny Go-Goat. Oh hey, there's one. And there it goes. So, just what the heck am I going to do? Arvin stops, Airy crushes, and Corviknight has a 360 no-scope montage saved to his clips that he originally had music to, but got copyright struck because of the sick Breaking Benjamin he was jamming to. Well, let's get back to Airy, I guess. She's the last Team Star leader, and technically Arvin and Nemona's quest are equally semi-completed. We're just jumping in at 91, and I guess this is technically the first battle I have shown of Airy. Trust me when I say, there were a lot, and they all ended with me getting my teeth reset. Toxicroak poisons out of the gate, and we send an almost good enough Earth Power to Red Bar. Sunkern 1 falls to Poisonja. Is this the right clip? Alright, out comes Sunkern 2 and... Oh, I see. Yes, this is the right clip. We eat a Poison Jab and finish off Toxicroak with a cheeky Giga Drain. Second up is the Ghost Fighting type Annihilate, and a close combat almost takes us out. But we one-shot and heal most of our health back with Giga Drain thanks to the Spadef drop. Passimian out next is also going to be a one-shot, and we outspeed. Look at us go. That sets us back to full health for the one that has ended so many attempts thus far, Lucario. Persona Incarnate outspeeds with Aura Sphere and then tanks a Giga Drain, but it does do massive damage for being not very effective. Healing most of what Lucario could do to us, we eat another Aura Sphere and land a last Giga Drain, knocking out Lucario. Last up is that Sweet Whip, which I have never faced with Sunkern and have no idea what it is capable of. It outspeeds and shifts gears, making it outspeed us even better. We Giga Drain for massive damage to that big ol' HP bar, and it outspeeds and shifts gears again. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll take it, I guess. I'm sure it could have used Honk or Door Slam or something, but yeah, no, Airy down, and we're making progress again. And guys, you'll never believe this, but the flashback, unfortunately, it's here. I mean, of course it is. I love it, and you love it, and it was only like 10 seconds long, so I didn't hurt my soul too much to narrate it. Airy hands us the final Team Star badge, and we've reached the boss fight portion of every questline in Pokémon Scarlet, which is way farther than I thought I'd get. So, let's try our hand at Director Clavel, aka Cassiopeia. Ooh, spoilers. Undercover Granddad starts with berating cashiers at the supermarket and Oranguru. And maybe we just start with a Giga Drain train early on. We do just that, and it did nothing since Oranguru has kinda really good special defense. It fittingly yawns at us, we swing another Giga Drain and tank a foul play pretty well. We don't wake up, and Dream Eater hurts a lot, removing a lot of progress we just made. We sleep through another severe beating, getting our dreams, eated it again, healing Oranguru to full and giving Sunkern-1 the big sleep. Sunkern 2 comes out and we outspeed, hitting with Giga Drain. As a parting gift, the sapient simian yawns before finally succumbing to our omnipotent seed-like might. Whatever comes out next cannot possibly be worse than that guy. Oh! Worse than that guy comes out as it starts to snow and we fall asleep. It sets up an Aura Veil, definitely needed, and follows up with a Blizzard, which Sunkern shrugs off with absolutely no problem. It wakes up in time just to give a middle finger in the form of a Giga Drain before falling to another Blizzard. My Sunkern may be weak, but he's got guts. Not like the ability or anything, because that would make him suck less, but emotional guts. We lose to Uncle Granddad Pappy Pap quite a few more times before we move back to Arvin, and that is also not going well. Arvin is still, yeah. And this goes on for a while. We've tried dozens of times. We always lose, and usually we're blasted by Scovillain. Where do we go now? At this point, I'm out of levels. We're level 100. We've hyper-trained. We've taken all of our vitamins and are even using mints to wiggle our stats around where needed to take on each challenge we're facing. We've given Sunkern everything but a gun. Well, let's give Sunkern a gun. A friendship gun. A gun in the form of friendship. How do we do that? Well, around 30 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, of course. And no, I'm not a lunatic. Not for this, anyway. Let's max out our friendship, which was something I wanted to try to avoid doing, but here we are. With all of this maxed, we gain significant bonuses in battle, the ability to survive on 1 HP, shrug off stat changes and statuses like sleep and poison, and land crits more often. With our new bestie status unlocked, let's jump back into Arvin. 25 battles and 30 PB&Js later, we know Greedent is out first. We outspeed and set up growth, we eat a body slam and have also swapped to Metronome for leftovers. Our general strategy for this part is to growth, lefties heal, protect, lefties heal, growth, repeat. It takes a crazy amount of setup, but is wildly more effective than what we previously did. But I'll be speeding it up nonetheless. Whilst Friendship protects me from status conditions, specifically paralysis, we wind down the growths, eventually reaching +6 in special attack. We set up a light screen and launch a massively boosted Giga Drain, one-shotting Greedent and healing whatever health I did not have. Out next is the reason for the light screen and why my ibuprofen is running out, Scovillain. It outspeeds, and Shocker goes for Fire Blast, stealing well over half my health without a crit, and even though double resisted, Giga Drain one-shots. Up and out third is Toadscruel, and due to having so many legs, outspeeds our no-leg boy with Sludge Bomb, poisoning me. Rude. We one-shot Toadscruel as well, and Sunkern even shrugs off the poison because he knows what'll happen otherwise. Out fourthly is Garganical, which, unless he's got a cheeky sturdy, is bound to be fully absorbed with Giga Drain. Our first light screen wears off just as Cloyster comes out. We outspeed and set up another light screen which allows us to survive Icicle Spear that happens to hit 5 times because of course it does. And we outspeed, once again, one-shotting Cloyster with Giga Drain. Probably could have done that initially, but that's okay. Finally, he's not last, he's the grand finale. Mabasta, fully healed and ready to go, comes out and immediately gets terastallized into the Super Dark type. Mabosstiff is faster and strikes first with Fire Fang, a super effective physical move. We follow with a Giga Drain, unstoppable at +6 special attack, and end Mabosstiff in one shot. This is all of Arvin's quest line, but not the last time we'll see him. He departs saying, "Now do the other 2 quests, lol." Thanks, buddy. With our next goal in mind, Arvin sprints away into the darkness, officially ending the Path of Legends. Now let's take our recently acquired friend-making ability back to Granddad at the Gate, and just like with Arvin, we're going to choose to set up against the first Pokemon, Oranguru, as everything else is just plain old too scary. We manage only to get to about +3 or +4, because I can't really tell at this speed, due to Oranguru being such a little troll. We finish it off with one more light screen to buffer our next Pokemon, and following up with a Giga Drain, healing us back to full just before we fall asleep. Now snugly tucked in, Sunkern is a fish inside a birdcage with nowhere to go and living on borrowed time. Abomasnow comes out and we usually get a free turn before it attacks as it sets up. We can terrestrialize in preparation for us waking up, but it doesn't happen this turn, and there's that Aura Veil we knew to expect. No damage, but it nullifies a lot of ours. Abomasnow is not impressed by its captive audience and swings a Blizzard just as Light Screen wears off, causing massive damage. We wake up just in time to protect, avoiding an Ice Shard and gaining a little bit back in the process with lefties. We now get outsped, but due to our epic friendship stats, tank an Ice Shard to the face at 1 HP. Our Giga Drain deals just under half, but we could protect against another attack to heal a little bit more back in the off turn. We save ourselves from a Blizzard, the snow stops, the Aura Veil lifts, just in time for Abomasnow to feel Sunkern's rage as a second Giga Drain outspeeds and KOs. But we're not out of the woods quite yet. Out next is Houndoom, Fire and Dark, and a guarantee that this thing has Fire Blast, because everything has Fire Blast. We protect to give myself a little bit more HP and see, yep, there it is. We get outsped, but we got that Wiggling Fever, allowing Sunkern to dodge what would surely be an OHKO and set up our light screen. Fire Blast hits, but doesn't KO. But we do, and heal a good chunk of what was just done to us. That's number 3, down and out. 4th up is the adorably named Poltegeist, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a threat. Wait, does it know Fire Blast? We outspeed, so I guess we'll never know. Just 1 Giga Drain, and yep, it goes down, putting us back to full health. In comes number 5 in the form of Amoonguss, and again, very unsure this thing can really do all that much to me. I'll use this opportunity to set up a cheeky growth, and we eat a Toxic. That could be bad if I let it get bad. We Giga Drain, which is double resisted, but still doing just over half. Amoonguss uses Hex, and I can see how this could go south for us really quickly. Light Screen wears off, but we're going to go ahead and Giga Drain before it can do anything too crazy. Amoonguss falls, and out last is the little guy that we didn't pick at the beginning of the game, all grown up and now Granddad's ace, Quaquaval, who will immediately be terrestrialized into the water type. Quaquaval is going to use his ice move that you're darn tootin' he's got. We tank that just fine and follow with our Giga Drain, one-shotting the fabulous waterfowl in the process, finally teaching this old man a lesson. Upon defeat, Director Clavel, aka Clyde, aka Cassiopeia, reveals to us that he is actually, aka a sneaky old man with creaky knees who likes to lie to us. He's not, in fact, aka Cassiopeia. What a twist. After dropping these truth bombs, Rhyme's sister Time, who also works here, guess I forgot about that, readies her hands for her own old man mollywoppin'. And we can go find the real, aka Cassiopeia. And you may be surprised to hear this, but the true identity of Cassiopeia is actually Ezio from the hit 2009 video game Assassin's Creed 2. Oh, it's Penny! Yeah, it's totally Penny. Hey, alright. We are getting lied to left and right today, but that's what friends are for, right? Penny, aka Penelope the Deceiver, has a full team of evolutions, starting with the one best for us to set up on, Umbreon. Thanks, Penny. We'll set up a light screen and start using growth. It can hit us with baby doll eyes, lowering our attack, which we don't care about, and use Dark Pulse, which is almost out-healed by leftovers alone. At +6, we can start one-shotting. And we do one-shot everything. As a final act of preparation, we'll set up our light screen for 5 turns, and use those 5 turns accordingly to wreak havoc. We terrestrialize and prepare the Carnage Train. Giga Drain 1 and Umbreon falls. We're fully healed, and Flareon is out next. And it doesn't outspeed, resisting my moves, but meets the same fate to Giga Drain 2. Leafeon does outspeed with X-Scissor, but unless it one-shots, this Sunkern ain't stopping. Giga Drain 3, Leafeon down. Vaporeon's only chance is to outspeed with an Ice move. Neither happens, but it manages to waste a power point, I guess. 4 Giga Drains, 4 down. Jolteon is out and will absolutely outspeed. With Thunder as its best move that we also resist, he's out too to Giga Drain 5. Last up is Penelope's ace, Sylveon, the Fairy type. Penny will terrestrialize Sylveon, only delaying the inevitable by a few frames, but ultimately there's nothing on her team that could resist our maxed out Sunkern and Giga Drain 6. Maybe don't lie to your friends, Penelope. Blocked. After almost literally waxing the floor with Penny and her quote-unquote team, a final Team Star flashback plays. We learn that bullying in the academy was the reason Team Star formed in the first place, that Penny wanted to remain behind the curtain, and that they weren't so much the bad guys after all. DJ Dentures has some stern words, but lets the team effectively rebrand and continue, skating right past the bad PR and into the sunset. With the conclusion of such a heartfelt moment, we're informed that there's one more person's quest we still need to complete. I know, buddy, I know. Starfall Street complete. Now, back to the Elite Four, and honestly, jumping right back into Poppy. Rika was never going to be an issue, especially at level 100. Poppy, as always, begins with Camparaja, who we've learned is not an ideal Pokemon to set up on, but we'll work with what we've got. We'll start with Growth and immediately take a Heavy Slam, nearly cutting our HP in half. Lefty's heals, and we Protect to get another turn of free healing, but Camparaja goes for Stealth Rocks anyway, kindly wasting our Protect. With a now larger HP pool, we'll set up Growth number 2 and take another Heavy Slam, sending us straight to the red zone. We'll Protect again here, allowing us to heal more and tank another Slam. With too little health to risk another Growth, and with little other choice, it's now time for us to terrestrialize and go on the offensive. We do just that, and our Giga Drain deals massive damage and heals us nicely, but Camparaja takes that personally and slams us one more time. We'll rock just one more Protect, opting to squeeze every tiny drop of health back before continuing on, and finally allowing Camparaja to succumb to one more Giga Drain. With Camparaja, aka the easy one, defeated, it's now time to face the showstopper himself, America's first Sona, Feather Sona even, Gunbird. Immediately we can go for Protect to stop us from instantly dying to Brave Bird, but now what? I guess we just Giga Drain as Protect won't likely work twice in a row. We do okay damage and heal a bit back. Brave Bird actually misses because we're never punished. We Protect again, now almost back to full HP. Giga Drain strikes again, further damaging Corviknight and setting us back to full health just in time to eat a Brave Bird, knocking us around but also red barring itself in the process. For whatever reason, the AI doesn't care to use potions in this game, so we can set up another turn protecting and follow up, outspeeding with one final Giga Drain, and that's 2 down. We are now in unknown territory, and up next is Magnezone. Electric and Steel types, we would resist one of those, and whenever I don't know what's going on, I use Growth. Magnezone sets up a light screen, clearly fearing for its safety. What a wimp. We set up a light screen like a badass and tank a Flash Cannon. With enough HP, we can set up our 4th Growth total and eat another Flash Cannon. From this point, we can rinse and repeat a bit about what we did with Camparaja. However, our reserves of Protect are running low, so we'll need to conserve that if possible. Never have I ever been a man who wouldn't Giga Drain, so let's do that just now to grab a chunk of HP back as well as do some solid damage. Just slightly over half by my calculations. Deciding to ignore my previous advice, I use one of my last few Protects, deciding instead to garner as much health as possible for the next few turns, dodging a Flash Cannon in the process. Next, setting up my second even more badass light screen, eating another cannon. We send yet another Protect, fully exhausting my supply, and finally following up with Growth number 5. And I think 5 is all I can expect to get in this fight. Readying a second Giga Drain, we outspeed and outmatch Magnezone, and it only took 15 turns of setting up. Next up and out is Bronzong, one of my favorite Pokemon, and its utility and skill ceiling really show in this fight. We fire a Giga Drain, one-shotting it. Sorry Bronzong, Sunkern really needs a nerf in Generation 10. Our last is Poppy's ace, Tinkaton. Fairy and Steel type, I know nothing about this Pokemon because frankly, I never thought I'd make it this far. Poppy will terrestrialize immediately as we ready our Giga Drain, and Tinkaton goes for its signature move, Gigaton Hammer. A very inopportune time to be on the receiving end of a critical hit, but here we are. We managed to live it based on skill alone and follow up with our own Giga Drain, healing a ton back, but one more hammer and we're toast. Good thing the AI is programmed for mercy or stupidity, unsure which, but a play rough does minimal damage and we defeat Tinkaton and Poppy with one final Giga Drain. But in the throes of her defeat, Poppy decides to call upon the literal devil himself, Larry. Yes, that Larry. Larry is back and sharp-dressed as ever. And guess what? Remember his Staraptor? Well, Larry has been promoted and can now afford to make flying his entire personality. I mean, just look at his cute little devil tie. Larry starts out with a wonderful setup Pokemon, Tropius. I hear you, but Lax, why does Tropius such a good Pokemon for you? That's exactly how you sound. Well, the first reason is Tropius has pretty bad special attack and only has special attacks, which means Light Screen will be very effective here. Reason number 2 is Tropius has Solar Beam, and even though he doesn't want to use it since we're a grass type, it wants to set up for it and be ready with Sunny Day. Sunny Day has a few other uses as well. It activates Sunkern's Chlorophyll ability, which, when we last used it, way back with Mila's Torkoal, we never noticed a difference, since Torkoal is so slow to begin with. But our speed then, like it is now, gets doubled. That will be very important for this battle. Another little cute side effect of Sunny Day was introduced in Generation 5. Growth will now raise attack and special attack by 2 stages instead of just 1. So we can set up in half the time and tank half the damage we'd normally have to take from Tropius. Larry just handed Sunkern a gun and dared us to use it. And as I have stated so many times before, if life gives Sunkern a lemon, we're gonna shoot. We protect the second time in a row intentionally to allow my light screen to fade so we can set up a new one for the next turn, and Tropius can reuse Sunny Day since he likes to do so every time it fades. This will allow us to carry our doubled speed into the rest of the fight. Tropius falls to Sunkern, who has now gone even further beyond, and Larry sends out Murderbird 1.0, the OG Nightmare, Staraptor. We outspeed and finish it off with just 1 Giga Drain, and that feels pretty good. Our next is another Nightmare, but from a different game and a different time, Altaria. We also outspeed and deal massive damage. It gets off a flamethrower, which thanks to Light Screen doesn't do very much, and we finish it off with our second Giga Drain. That's 3 down, only 2 to go, but I don't want to count my birds before they're hatched. Oricorio is up next, and it outspeeds us as the sunlight bequeathed unto us from Tropius finally fades. It confuses us with Teeter Dance, but we manage to push through and one-shot. Only 1 left to go, and up next is Larry's new ace, So Long Staraptor. Hello, Flamigo, a fighting flying Pokemon that he'll terrastalize into the flying type immediately. It outspeeds us and goes for Brave Bird. It misses from Friendship, coming in clutch, and we push through the confusion to land one final Giga Drain on Larry's team. And guys, I knew it would come to this. I even said it would in the intro to the first video I did, and yet I still feel the need to apologize. Larry's second defeat marks the end of Sunkern's itemless streak. I never imagined it would be Hassel of all people to put an end to this. I'll let a few of the battles of the many attempts play out while I explain some things. Hassel starts his battle with Noivern, and I guess I slept on Noivern for a while. I'd never viewed this thing as much of a threat. To me, it just looked like another Golbat, and that was a big mistake. Noivern is fast, really fast, as in the it outspeeds my Sunkern even with Sunny Day out kind of fast. It has a base speed stat of 123, but that's not all. It also has really good special attack of 97, so it will oftentimes just outspeed and if not outright one-shot, deal debilitating damage with its Stab Air Slash, which, should I survive, also has a chance to flinch, making me lose anyway. And finally, its ability Infiltrator. Infiltrator allows attacks by Noivern to completely ignore most barrier-style moves, including Light Screen. So, I can't even set up anymore. Noivern and Hassel are also the reason I decided to save in between Elite Four members, because originally, I wasn't going to. Not level 100, not Hyper Training, not Eevee Training, not Spadef Mints, not even Friendship would allow me to bypass this thing. It is theoretically possible that that last thing would work. I mean, the odds are long, really long, on that one being viable. So without further ado, what did we do against this thing? Well, drugs. Lots of drugs. The special defense kind, just to give Sunkern a tanking chance against this behemoth. We take exactly 3x special defense, pushing our special defense to +6 and start setting up growths in earnest. And this back and forth setting up took forever. Just look how fast it sped up. Worse than when we set up on Arvin. 6 growths took something like 15 turns to complete, sprinkling in a few protects and worthless light screens. But at the time, I was unaware of how useless they really were. Eventually, reaching +6 in special attack, we fire off our second Giga Drain, and this thing finally goes down for the first time in like 30 attempts. Out next is Dragalge, a poison dragon type. We actually outspeed and deal well over half, but take a Sludge Bomb, and thankfully that useless light screen ain't so useless against this Pokemon. We follow up with one more Giga Drain to KO Dragalge. And just in time too, that light screen just wore off. Third up is Flapple. Flapple is adorable and not a threat at all. We one-shot regardless of Expedevs. Now, on to number 4, Haxorus. Just a regular mono dragon type here. It outspeeds and lands a Dragon Claw, just a boring 80 power dragon move. No bells, no whistles. We eat it and one-shot with Giga Drain. Last up for Hassel is his ace, Baxcalibur, the ice dragon type. Get it? Excalibur? In his back? Pretty cool. Hassel will terrastalize immediately, making this dragon the Dragon, and it outspeeds with Icicle Crash, which thankfully doesn't crit because wow. We also managed to dodge the flinch and follow up with a Giga Drain, ending Hassel's fight, albeit with some help from, shall we say, controlled substances? Wink wink. Don't arrest me, please. And with these 4 trainers out of the way, now either consoling Hassel or otherwise, our pre-test is complete, and according to Rika, we pass. Now onto the real exam. We are now able to make our way to the top side and take on La Primera herself, Geeta. Now, Geeta is a bit of an odd one. When Scarlet and Violet first came out, I remember her team being kind of a meme. A lot of folks were really underwhelmed by the champion fight, but when your only means of defending yourself is Sunkern, her team is pretty effective, yeah. Let's see how this goes. Up first is a Psychic-type Espathra, and it has its signature move, Lumina Crash, which always lowers special defense by 2 stages. That is a huge problem. It's also got Opportunist, which gift wraps all of my positive stat changes and gives it to this thing. Guess it won't be a great idea to set up here and now. I learned this too little too late, and Sunkern 1 is felled by its own stat increases. Sunkern 2 comes out, and we immediately terrastalize, opting to take this thing out ASAP. Of course, we get outsped, and Espathra starts to whittle down this Sunkern's defenses as well. A Giga Drain does do a huge chunk of damage and heals back what we just took, but we are destined to repeatedly take greater and greater damage with each successful Lumina Crash. One more Giga Drain ends this thing finally, and out comes Veluza, another super speedy boy. Thankfully, its only super effective move is a physical one. We tank an Ice Fang and use Veluza to recover most of our health. 2 down and out comes Avalugg. Not quite as speedy and super low special defense, we one-shot and manage to heal all the rest of our missing health. Out fourth is Dark Steel-type Pokemon whose ability behooves it to arrive later in battle, Kingambit, and with every teammate it witnesses fall, it gains more and more power. Fortunately, it isn't our ace because Terra, the last Pokemon, and that ability, let's not. Very fortunately, our Metronomed Giga Drain makes reasonably short work of this thing, and we're moving on. Not far though, Pokemon 5 is Gogoat, underwhelming in terms of a champion's roster and an absolute wall for Sunkern. This Gogoat, like the shiny one we found earlier, has Sap Sipper. No grass attacks work on it. So, our momentum, like my Sunkern, goes straight out the window. Not bad though, right? First try, Pokemon 5? The issue that I've been running into with Geeta is not that she's overpowered, it's that she's balanced, and damn near every one of her Pokemon has a counter to Sunkern. Lumina Crash Opportunist to Espathra, Ice Fang on Veluza can freeze or chain flinch, and it outspeeds, Gogoat walling totally, even Avalugg got me with a 240 power Avalanche I think 4 times? Shockingly, the one I was most afraid of, Kingambit, was by far the friendliest, only KOing me twice. And then there was her ace. But I am getting way ahead of myself. One more time for the people in the back, Geeta. Geeta starts with that damn bird again, and we're going to go ahead and immediately terrastalize. And of course, we get outsped, and it goes for Reflect? Okay, that's unusual. Our Giga Drain is going to be a 2-shot from the looks of it, and Espathra hits us with a Lumina Crash on the follow-up turn. Our second Giga Drain KOs, healing for a small amount. Veluza's out next, and what'll it be? Freeze? Flinch? Dodge? Hell yeah, we take those. We drink all of Veluza and heal ourselves back to full for Avalugg. Terrastalized and 4th chained Giga Drain should be enough to KO Avalugg in one hit, and if we weren't already full HP, we sure would be after that. Kingambit is up next, and the fight with this guy always goes the same way. Attack 3 times and pray it doesn't get a crit. That's 1 Giga Drain, there's 2 Giga Drains, and now you guessed it, 3 Giga Drains. What skilled narration. And with no crit in sight, we can now make our way to the wall itself, Gogoat. Don't freak out, but we're actually going to break our terastallization and our metronome chain to swap to our bench Sunkern. No, Lax, you're throwing! Our strategy now is Terra Blast, which starts off normal but will change typing to whatever your Terra is. A couple of these cheeky blasts, a prophylactic in the form of Light Screen, and one final Terra Blast, and Go-Goat is also no more. And now we're going to talk about Glamora, Geeta's ace, a rock poison type that Geeta will terastallize into the rock type. I'm in the clear, right? Grass scissors beats paper rock or whatever. Yeah, no, Glamora is fast, but moreover it's really toxic. Vitriolic even. Other synonyms too, and Sludge Wave just did that much damage through a Light Screen. Glamora was single-handedly responsible for over half of my team wipes. Without a prefaced Light Screen against Go-Goat, we just lose. But not this time. We survived 2 in a row and finished this fight against champion Geeta. But just before giving Sunkern our congratulations and pats on the back, Geeta is not quite the end of our struggles. There's still 2 major battles and like 5 hours of game left, 3.5 of which are cutscenes, don't you worry. And without too much further ado, we're lastly up against a brand new Nemona. Nemona V6, and our track record with this Nemona is a bit poor. This is battle 20 or 21, I honestly lost count, and this is also the 6th or 7th utilizing X Defense. You heard that right, even with items this wasn't a guaranteed victory, not by a long shot. We're also going to use X special attacks as well, since we'd growth to +6 anyways, this would just save you and me time. See, I'm looking out for you, viewer, and me, and me. We'll finish off that substance abuse shortly, eventually setting up a Light Screen and finishing off Lycanroc with a Giga Drain. But I'll mention now why it's needed, and it's not needed for 5 of the 6 Pokemon we'll be facing. Most of Nemona's team is kind of a joke when we have time to set up. However, her number 2 Pokemon is the Wall. Unmoving, unwavering, and unpoison type. Goodra. And Goodra is kind of a behemoth. Crazy special defense, good special attack and HP, the ability Sap Sipper, and moves like Ice Beam and Sludge Bomb. I can't do much to this thing, and the damage I can do is all but absorbed. A crit Terra Blast at +6 is still not a one-shot, but it could have been a low roll. After Goodra, we can finally terastallize, and the first time getting past Goodra is the only time that matters. We just sweep everything else with Giga Drain, as we should do at +6. Kind of an interesting fun fact, to me anyways, we have a special defense Mint set up for Goodra specifically, and we can set up Light Screen for special attacks, and the only Pokemon on Nemona's team that uses special attacks at all is Goodra. Every other move is either a status move or physical. If Sunkern got Reflect, I do not believe we would need to resort to items at all. And with Nemona quote-unquote defeated, the crowd is shocked by just how juiced my Sunkern can get and not black out. Go team! When all is said and done and all the hand-touching is over with, we are awarded with our last "You Done Did Good Kid" screen. With this final pre-finale floundering completed, we are now about to move into heavy spoiler territory. I won't be showing any of the following game bits because this game is still technically the newest Pokemon game, and there may well be some folks that haven't beaten it yet. This also has the bonus benefit of me not having to actually narrate an additional 3 hours of gameplay footage. It is, however, impossible to not spoil the final fight if I am indeed going to show you that final fight. You have officially been warned. With that being said, meet Arvin's Hot Cave Mom. Arvin's Hot Cave Mom, I believe that to be her full and legal name, starts with the worst Pokemon for me to set up on. A Pokemon that is super effective against Sunkern that only uses physical moves. This is regrettably another fight that required items, and again, even with those items, it took over a dozen attempts to get a deep run. I do try to do all of these battles itemless several times before I resort to using items, but the odds were so well stacked against me here that there was just no other way through besides freak friendship luck. I did want to show a few of these Sunkern slaughters, but rest assured there were dozens of losses and hours of footage I needed to sift through before I got a run that actually let me get past this roided up Volcarona. Also of note, having a second Sunkern doesn't even really behoove me at this point in the game. If beeped up, out back of the Kmart Sunkern gets KO'd, Sunkern 2 just eats dirt immediately 9 times out of 10. So what does a deep run constitute for this fight? What exactly does it look like? It's legitimately getting all 3 X defense used. That's practically it. If I can do that, most of the time, I have a fighting chance. A Mega Super Turbo Deep Run would be KOing the Dino Bug. Let's see if we can make that happen. AHCM with an apparent monopoly on Master Ball starts with Slitherwing, and me with my best buddy Sunkern. We'll be sipping on that good X defense 3 times and slide into a few X special attacks as well, protecting between party favors to keep Sunkern's HP as full as possible with our leftovers. I sped this part up by I believe 15 times. It could be 20. This took over 4 minutes in real time of what felt like dumpster diving dressed up as menuing, but thanks to movie magic, you don't have to sit through any of that. After setting up all of that, we finish off Slitherwing with one final Giga Drain. As low as its HP was, I do not believe that crit mattered. Up next is another ancient Pokemon, and in fact all of AC and H's Pokemon are those golden oldies only available in Area 0. Out comes Screamtail, and it's like if Jigglypuff had a little bit of extra rock and roll mixed in. We set up a light screen because we're now in uncharted waters, and it uses Ice Punch, which we tank due to our X defense. A single Giga Drain is all it takes to knock it out. As Screamtail falls, up next is Fluttermane? Pretty sure that's from My Little Pony. No? Oh. A Mischievous with extra long hair, ribbons, hands? Yeah, we outspeed and 1 Giga Drain is all it takes. The next Pokemon out on AC/DC's team is fittingly Sandy Shocks, my favorite design of these new Pokemon. It's just so derpy and strange, and unfortunately, ground type, so this is and was over quickly. Up next, and second to last, is Brute Bonnet, a dual grass and dark type with pretty decent special defense, so it'll resist us pretty well. And yep, even with +6 special attack, it survives our Giga Drain. It fires off one of its own, but I was born in the Giga Drain, molded by it. Also, we were behind a light screen the whole time. We follow up with one more Giga Drain of our own, and it's all down to one final Pokemon. Waning Gibbous? Waxing Crescent? Roaring Moon, that's it. It's now or never. Will we defeat ADHD and her pancake Salamence? Let's find out. It eats its booster energy, boosting its attack by 30%. We Giga Drain, doing some significant damage as it follows with a Dragon Claw. It can't compete with our roided up defense, however, and we sink one more Giga Drain to down this dragon and defeat MILTT, OFCBJ, AFYK, and IYKYK. That was a little anticlimactic, wasn't it? That's my whole issue with having to rely on items to set up. Of course we win eventually. Our journey thus far was rife with challenge, struggle, and self-doubt. These last couple of battles, not so much. I'd love to have kept this a clean run, but that just didn't happen. We're here now though, we did it, and thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop me a comment, leave me a like, all those things I'm supposed to beg for. With that, I'm out of here. I've got more videos to make, and I've got a lot of ideas cooking. If you've got any suggestions, please feel free to leave me a comment. And have a great day, everyone. And, I'm Lax.